This is Bob tying up the boat. Our last night stop. Bye, Bob.
So now we've moored for the day, for the evening, at Pontarlier, sur Saône. We didn't quite make it to our original destination, but this is absolutely splendid. We're told there's a restaurant just over yonder, and Charlotte and I are going to pop up there and make the reservations. I better have room. This is Charlotte and I off to make the reservations for the evening. Because neither of us...
This filthy shirt on with the blackberry stains.
Well,
We're going to walk into this elegant
That's
place.
okay, but neither of us can trust this business of turning up and the place is full. Disappointment's not our middle name.
Well,
There's just the typical French high street, and there's just a typical looking... Yes. Oh, I think we should. And that's what we're going to check out. People around.
We've got, what, 3 nights out sleeping in the moon?
Charlotte's steering the broom while we're just checking out the restaurant. But this looks absolutely splendid. We're going to reserve a table for 4 for later. Yeah, it's passed its inspection.
Where's I hit fade by mistake?
I'm going to put it back in the moment because it's...
This is Bob catching his first fish after a week here.
my last fish too.
Probably.
Okay.
And he got a round of applause from everybody.
No.
Thank you. This is Anne aggravating the swans just before we go to supper. The 2 parent ones are getting a little bit testy.
Come on.
Especially the one up the front. You makers enjoying the evening?
No, it's a moment for us.
You'll be stars. You'll be stars. It was Harold and Charlotte a little bit later.
Charlotte had to change because Harold didn't like what she had on.
Don't tell tales.
It's true.
Now Harold's sorting himself out.
He's been doing
There
that
we
for
are.
20 minutes.
This is where we've selected for the evening. The baby's walking on ahead. Harold tactfully staying behind them. That's splendid, isn't it? This is the picture of the room. Someone coming in. Nicely done.
It's been grilled. It's got something, yeah. It's not just it's croutons that they have.
Jolly good start, huh? This is just looking at the restaurant, seeing everyone enjoy themselves. It's been superb so far. This is where the battle's been fought so far. Not too much blood on the table, but it's been a wonderful evening. Perfect food. Just had a good time. I'm proud to say that we've actually managed to close the place. Not a soul. But the last one's here. There's the wreckage. And it was an absolutely Hall of Fame meal. Great food, great company. We really enjoyed it. We're just having our constitutional now, just to walk the meal down. It'll take about a marathon to do so, but here we are, coming towards the middle of the town. We've checked out the bakery. It's just a wonderful, non-spectacular French town, just even with your friendly war memorial. And there's Harold, your friendly veteran, checking it out.
Or is this an oxbow or something?
I don't
Did they
suppose this will
build
come out, but
that?
it's worth trying because
They
it's so
built
pretty
that
and it's so
make it
quiet.
look sort of quaint and old. That round tower.
Here we
I
are.
think they put it there to make
This is
it
the
look
bridge
old
over
and
the
quaint, or do you think
what they
it's
call the
old?
old Saône. A couple of swans under floodlight.
Yeah, I know. I
Aren't they
took
splendid?
pictures of them.
Oh my, that's a pretty.
They must know they're supposed to be there.
We're in the light, in the
Yes,
spotlight.
yes.
They only come.
I know I'm overdoing it, but I just think this looks so nice. And over there's a camping site, lucky devils. But we really walked up this far because Harold remembers also having a very splendid meal at this establishment, Le Lion d'Or. So we're putting that on record for him as well. Well, this is the end of the evening, sitting beside the barge. Harold wants to skinny dip in the river, but I don't think he's going to get a rush of volunteers. Correct?
It's a real kick Kodak, isn't it?
We left Charlotte and Harold at about 3:45 this afternoon. It's now 6 o'clock in the evening. This is Friday, and we're happily ensconced in a hotel in Dijon, which, although it's very close to the station, still is a very pleasant, peaceful place, as you can see. Anne's at the moment running the bath, and then we'll get ready to go out later. This is the front of the hotel viewer. Can't see it very well from there, but this is where we took our late evening brandy, and also this is where we're going to have breakfast. In a very busy, active spot, which is why I have to keep stopping and starting, because there's too many stars in the show. It's very nice. We're just choosing our sandwiches for the journey, and the most magnificent choice. We're having the chicken. There's all sorts of other even some more around the other side. Very, very, very tasty. I think we've both taken a couple of chicken sandwiches. Look delicious. Slightly better view of our hotel. We were very lucky. We had a new room on the 4th floor, which is at the back, facing that courtyard which you've seen in an earlier picture. And now on board the TGV, ready to set sail for Paris. Very comfortable seats. With any luck, that means there's a cocktail bar somewhere along the way, which we might visit. Zipping along at quite a decent speed, passing some very nice old towns and villages. Now part of the hustle and bustle of Gare du Nord, waiting for the train to leave. And while we're waiting, we've been having some beer and wine from this most excellent brasserie on the station. I've been served by that kind lady over there. We're just coming to the end of our holiday, not our holiday, but this trip to The Hague, which we've shared with some very dubious people from Australia. Very dubious, I have to say.
Bill from Brogan Hill.
Bill from whatever.
Brogan Hill.
Crocodile Dundee's
Of
brother.
course it's not on, you silly move.
Yes, it is. It looks like it is. The red light's on.
Continuation of Anne and Bob's excellent adventures. We've just come to the tram stop now, and we're going to a seaside resort that I can't say. We're waiting for the tram. Pause to photograph a Dutch coot. A larger version of the Moorhen, for those who are interested. Oh, and that's his disapproval. Here comes the tram.
And that was who? That was the start.
There he is, he's going to that place that you can't say. So we've now reached that place that I can't say. The very large modern seaside resort with all the mod cons. And
Judy says he's muttering again.
I'm being accused of muttering again. Well, it's true. It's facing away from the town towards the dunes.
I remember going for a walk over the dunes with Mum and Dad, and we got onto the Newlys Beach by mistake. And poor old Dad didn't know where to look.
This is just wall-to-wall bars, restaurants and shops. Anne's just gone in there to get herself a film. But it's certainly bustling. Doesn't take too much of this. just enough to give a flavour. To stop now at this splendid establishment, and I'm going to have a beer. Oh yeah, that's the particular brand. Never heard of it before, but I bet it's good. This is made of sand, but according to Judy, it's got something mixed with it so that it doesn't just fall apart if you sneeze. And castle exhibition in there, but we're too late and too cheap to go in there.
The central square, the square which is called the Binnenhof, or literally the interior court, and that was originally started in about the 12th century. Actually a hunting lodge, and then later a palace for the Counts of Holland, there not being any kings in those days. On the left, the grey building is the Mauritshuis, which was the palace of Prince Maurits, who was a great collector of paintings and any other people. And the little tower on the corner,
Minster.
Hester has met the
Old
Prime Minister,
fogey.
the former Prime Minister.
Oh.
Bloody old man.
Shut up.
We're walking towards the courtyard of the Dutch Houses of Parliament. Sorry about the sun. Prime Minister's Tower. Is that where he goes if he wins or he loses? Is that where he goes if he loses or if he wins?
No, I mean it's where he works.
Oh, he does work.
Yeah.
All right. Judy was just pointing out the absence of any obvious
Police coming in.
security. Now she tells us the police are coming. Oh well. The Hall of...
Ridderzaal,
Ah,
Oh, really?
which means the whole Knights Hall.
that's a bit better. Back to the sun.
Government offices.
The antique and book market that's open twice a week. Very interesting things. Of course, the clocks are my particular favourite. And the watches over there. This is interesting for the people going around as it is for the things on the stalls. Great people watching place. A little bit of extra entertainment for the punters. Is that tourist? We're just walking back now. This is the famous hotel apparently where all the crown heads of Europe stay. Doesn't include yours truly. Our tourist progress down there. Where we've come from. Royal Palace over there, that's now a museum. All very pleasant. What is this, Judy?
This is it's where two canals meet.
And where's Mata Hari's house?
Harry's house is about halfway up there on the left.
Good gracious. Is she in?
Not recently, no.
Oh.
That's in Jugendstil House. You can see from the Mata Hari famous spy, and this Tapor restaurant is
Isn't that lovely?
famous.
By luck and judgment, we're setting off for Delft.
Eating or is eating our breakfast still?
Yes, it's been a hard bit of effort. Hour and a half to put in contact lenses has to be a world record.
This is the commentary. He's got these videos.
Just been told this is called the New Church because it's very old. I thought the outside is interesting. We just arrived in Delft and here they are building a new street. Rather different to the old flash of tarmac. Most interesting. I've come to see where I was. Better go. Arrived in Delft. We've dropped Hester off at the dentist, and now we're just going to find a suitable place to refresh ourselves. This is our habit. This is the famous.
Line us up all standing like that.
This is the famous Leaning Church of Delft. If you notice, it's a tad off the straight and narrow. I'm trying to use the folks here as a yard body. Very nice here. One of my favourite places. Just a very pleasant town. Quiet, clean, and just having the canals through the middle of the streets just gives it that different character. I suppose Amsterdam's going to be the same, but just greater. Again?
It's called the Tree of Life. That's a fairly modest version.
And that's a cast iron decoration. Is this something? So what?
This is the old church, which dates from the 13th century. The tower leans a full 6 feet, so it's not you. And it has 3 famous people buried there. 2 Dutch famous seamen, Piet Hein, who led the sea beggars against the Spanish. Admiral Tromp, who sailed up the Thames with the broom. It was originally a private house belonging to a family called De Houten.
Yeah?
And built in about 1520. And since 1645, it has been the house where the opening.
Taking a little shot here just to capture some of the noise of the bell, which is striking a serious note. Must be it. It was. It's midday, Delft time. Dad, it's midday on Monday the 29th of August. And if we're watching this in our dotage, 1994.
Opposite hand,
Yes?
there is a hostelry which will give you food and drink.
Oh, smashing.
I'll go back and get Hester. So you set yourself down and order a few wee halves.
Okay. She doesn't know her way here, huh?
Oh,
It's an even more elaborate wrought iron decoration, Tree of Life. You're on TV now. Now in the pancake shop. Judy's gone to fetch her daughter. Just a minute, Anne. And we're going to get down to serious choosing now. Right? Right? Yes. There we have the postman doing his deliveries. Takes it round in a little cart. Isn't that splendid? Here we have trouble on 4 legs, waiting for the ladies. Here's Anne, she's finished first. She won. She's got a certificate for going. Some more beautiful bits of Delft. So nice. We're in the
Oh, really?
China shop.
Find that nice.
Loadable, really.
I like this one. Really got plasters.
Still more wonders round the corner. Beautiful old church. Really down to the souvenir centres. There's another impressive old building in Delft. In this square. This seems to be the main square. With all the tourist traps. See the bells up the top. +1. Delft time. Still Monday the 29th. That's all day. Judy correctly described it. Another charming little vista. Unfortunately, some piece of machinery has just opened up. A So pretty. Oh, there's Sakuku down there. They haven't modernised their transportation yet. Still tends to be horse-drawn. The waterside property Delft style. But very nice, don't they? Very keen on the flowers. Ford Amsterdam hasn't featured in the filming because I've been too busy, but now riding in the taxi back to Central Station, plenty of time. Taking the opportunity just to take a few quick pictures. Some typical Dutch scenery from the train. Hoping to even catch up with Mill soon. There's like a fishing contest going on there right there.
Ladies and
Down to the
gentlemen,
dining car and
we would request you to prepare your
leisurely
passports and
lunch.
proof of identity
And won't let me
and your luggage. Officers of the Belgian and French authorities will
imagine
presently
why. We're now looking out the window from the dining car. As you can see already, it's a much more rolling countryside compared to out of Holland. Just put the boots to the mozzarella and pastrami. It was just delicious. And we're looking forward to the next go round. In the meantime, the country is sort of flattened again, but it's still pleasant. Wish the sun was shining. Here's a pretty scene from the train. It's a little bit misty, maybe raining a little bit, but it still looks very nice. So we're back in Paris, albeit a little bit late, and we're going to our Hotel de la Champagne, the Grand Hotel de la Champagne. As you can see, traffic's a little bit on the heavy side at the moment. Now Friday the 2nd of September, and we're leaving Gare Saint-Lazare for the Havre, hopefully to meet Stuart and Irene and Scott and Christy. Right. I want to give you an impression of the speed that this train's going at. It's quite a breathtaking ride in its own right. And I'll agree with you. To be a little French town. This is Rosny-sur-Seine. Some nice little houses. There goes the driver speeding up again. Coming into Rouen with its famous cathedral, which of course has been obliterated by the trees. Still travelling along. We'll take a few more shots now that Anne stopped to use more bad language. We're going to get the view of what bridge? Some new bridge, did you say?
Tanqueray. Oh, the new one?
Yeah.
The new one's Normandy, Pont de Normandy.
Okay. This is the Pont Normandy. It's under construction to cut out the detour from the Havre to Paris before you drive back to Honfleur. It'll cut off at least 3/4 of the drive, won't it, Stuart?
When's it supposed to be finished?
By the Canadian flags.
Just coming into Honfleur, the main drag.
Of course, this is the beginning.
Look at all those wonderful city trees already. As long as Stuart misses this fella, it'll be alright. This is really
The
pretty.
albatross is over there.
Well, do you want to drop us off, Stu? Coming into the tourist picturesque part of the harbour. It's really very, very beautiful. Nice old church over there. We're being met by Irene just down the... There's the little old church. It's pretty, isn't it? And lots of barracks parked around. Yes, I was.
Taking pictures.
Yes.
Nice to see you.
It's all postcards.
It's millions and millions.
Well, I'll have to look at them because I've yet to see some like the Dutch postcards.
Rude.
Oh, I didn't understand them, that's for
Rude,
sure.
cute rude is one thing. This was pornographic.
Yeah.
And Bob's cousin kept saying, "Go on, no guts."
Now we're going through that famous ritual of ordering the grub.
Now, how do you want the steak?
Are we good at it or
You
what?
want it well done?
Fantastic bottle of muscadet there. Going down
well.
seeing them.
Medium well. This one,
Causing great interest for the locals.
Here we are, still having our lunch.
The bill's been paid.
I've got a visa too. Oh, just give me 100.
Stuart's handing out money.
How about some for me?
Wait a minute, excuse me.
How about some for you, Bob?
You can at least still write your name on your credit card,
I
you
want one
miserable
of
old what are
those.
you?
That won't get you very far.
Right, Stu?
Well, that's about $25, about £12.
Where shall we rendezvous?
Don't do. They've got to fever pitch now at the on Fleur Open. It's supposed to be putting, but desperation set in, right? Right. Stuart's going to use his putter to try and loft it on that green and kill that guy. Here we are now. It is the shot of the century. No prisoners. Well, out to the right, nothing shameful in that.
It needs more welly, lad.
He's more welly, what the hell?
Not that much.
You said more willing.
Yeah, but you know. Finished the Fleur Open, so we're stopping for the last pier. Accompanied by the local pulchritude. A nice building there. All the good stuff. Just a very pleasant little spot, very busy. Touristy, yes, it doesn't matter. This is woman.
Oh.
Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Yes, you can. Don't mess about.
Some of those women
Don't-
were £300 in her knickers, black as the ace of spades, with her hair. You think mine's Rastafarian? She took the cake. And I said to Bob, "I'm telling you."
And you're doing this in front of Scott.
Retire in maybe 2 months.
What? Scott wants to know the address, Anne.
The only ones that weren't really bad were I saw a couple of Indonesian girls that
Yeah.
weren't too bad.
What, were they in the windows?
Yes. Of course, I was looking for the red light, the
Where's
bulb.
he?
But it's
Thank you very much.
Robert enjoying himself with Scott. Say hello, Scott.
Be nice.
Hello, Scott. Hello.
Stuart doing what he does best.
Yeah, but look at that elbow again. It's
Yeah.
like follow through, isn't it?
It's awful.
Bob, what's all these black
We'll
bits
see
on
you
the lens?
tonight, let's go.
That's me taking a picture.
So we're on our way.
But
Just packing up.
It started 2 weeks before
Ari's still making speeches, but
we thought, oh God.
here's the lad. Paid the bill.
Arsenal!
If we
Rubbish!
I'm jerking around. But then look what happens.
I'm recording it. We've left Deauville, and Stuart and Irene and the children, and we're trying to get something of the Normandy countryside, but the train driver seems to be intent on us avoiding that. We're getting a nice looking French town, but that's not really what we wanted. There's a nice little chateau over there again. I think I'm losing it. There it is.
Look at this side, Bob.
typical bit of the countryside. It really is beautiful here. We wish we could in all its glory, but fortunately, as I said, the train doesn't tend too fast for us. Still, just a little bit anyway. This is the only stop we have between Deauville and Paris. A place called Lycia, and there's this rather splendid edifice. I don't know what it is, but I'll look it up in the books later. We've arrived back in Paris after a lovely trip from Deauville, and now we're bravely walking back to the hotel. And we're just starting to walk down towards the opera now, having at last got our bearings. And it's all very bustling and all very full of light, and this is what we'd like to remember when we're back in Kirkland or wherever. How's the opera now? We're going to go around to the front, but I thought a little bit of the side would be nice. Now we're in front of the opera, and this is it in all its glory. I mean, it's just a beautiful building. It's timeless. There are places like this, the Café de la Paix. What a famous surgery that is. One last look back at the Place de l'Opera. It's just so typical of what we love about Paris. Not necessarily including those signs up there, but we have to accept that. To whet our appetite for the winter months, this is just a much more typical little brasserie, nice little chairs and tables outside, and a warmth that is hard to define. Here it is, it's the Royal Opera. No, way back now, we're nearly back at the hotel, and we're just opposite the Louvre. And some beautiful buildings, we'll find out what they are later itself. It's beautiful. And it seems to be rather special at this time, you know, in the artificial light. That's the Louvre.
You said the palace.
Taking advantage of the illuminations from the Baton Rouge. It's hard to know where to look next. I don't want to make this too much, but it's just so pretty. Due to a slight contretemps in the booking, we had to change hotels for our last night, so we're staying here. Very pleasant. That's our room up there on the 3rd floor, with an elevator the size of a mummy's coffin. We're in Rue Saint-Roch, which leads down to the Tuileries, which we'll show you in a minute. I'm just walking down the arcade now along Rue Rivoli towards Place Concorde. Of course, Anne's looking in the shops, having a marvellous time. Over there through the railings is the Tuileries. Really look said there, I thought. Guess it won't focus on anything. Down. Now in the Tuileries. I'm going to go down there towards Place de la Concorde. What?
The Eiffel Tower.
Oh, gorgeous.
Shot of the gardens in the Eiffel Tower.
Yes.
They were anywhere near it.
Let's go down to the...
To do something.
No, not if I stand here. It's nicely framed. Oh dear, I was recording then. Oh well, you've heard what was decided, that this is the Eiffel Tower. Save the journey. And there over the tops of the trees is the famous, is obelisk the word I'm seeking? Possibly. Which the birthday girl moves on apace. Afraid her cameraman can't keep up. Looks as though she's suddenly run out of steam here. Lovely effect of the gardens and the grass would do that to anybody. This is the famous obelisk, I think it's Egyptian, which is the centrepiece of Place de la Concorde. They had the big parade last Friday in memory of the end of the last war, or rather I think the liberation of Paris. There's the birthday girl still admiring it all, and there's her best friend over there still. the Assembly Nationale, where all the Jack Parizeau wannabes work, and we're looking back down the Seine towards the Pont des Invalides with those rather nice golden statues on the top, and of course again the ever-present Eiffel Tower. Really nice little boats moored. That's our Bateau Rouge. I think Anne wants to go for a ride on one of those for her birthday this afternoon. Save the old legs. It's fun. We're now walking down beside the National Assembly to a little bar that we visited when we first came to Paris, and we've walked a long way, and with a strange waiter, but it still was a wonderful beer. Bar Restaurant de Bourbon. Back down to the Invalides, and then we're going to, well there it is, then we're going to cross the bridge here and go down and find the Bateau Rouge. And it's really organised a wonderful day of weather for her birthday, isn't it? To the Pont Alexandre III, there's a friendly tourist admiring these extraordinary statues. Very admiring of the splendid statue at the top here. Extraordinary piece of sculpture. Checked out the Bateau Rouge, and we're going to go and have 40 francs for an hour a little later. Now we found a nice little brasserie where we're going to enjoy a beer and a rest. We've walked for an hour and a half and we deserve it, I think. So in the other direction, there's our happy tourist. We're now on board the Bateau Rouge. About to set off. Anne's just checking to see if there's any seats upstairs. But we've just got on the 2 o'clock departure. And we might be fortunate to keep these we have on the lower deck and outside.
It will be punctuated by passages under Paris's many bridges, known as ponts in French. The first being the Pont des Invalides. In front of you is an example of a bridge adorned with sculptures in stone and bronze dating from 1900. The bridge commemorates the Franco-Russian alliance of this period.
Brücke, Pont Alexandre III は石とブロンズで作られています。当時のフランス・ロシア同盟の記念に作られたものです。
Arnay of Napoleonic Egyptian style is one of a number of 18th century mansions which house in this quarter embassies and government ministries.
Steuerbord Stadtviertel Saint-Germain.
Du XVIIe siècle,
où Madame de Staël complota contre Napoléon.
To starboard, the museum plotted against Napoleon.
Steuerbord, Museum der Ehrenlegion. In diesem ehemaligen Hotel des Salm aus dem 18. Jahrhundert veranstaltete Madame de Staël gegen Napoleon ein Konflikt. À bâbord, palais du Louvre. Dès le XIIIe siècle, la forteresse des rois de France. Der Könige von Frankreich. Die von der Seine aus sichtbare Ufergalerie beherbergte einen großen Teil der Sammlung.
A babordo, il Palazzo del Louvre. Dal 200 fortezza dei re di Francia.
En amont du Pont des Arts, l'Hôtel de la Monnaie présente sa façade janséniste.
To starboard, the École des Beaux-Arts, the School of Fine Arts, and the Palais de l'Institut, 17th century, is the seat of the academies and of the institute.
La Monnaie mit seiner jansenistischen Fassade.
A tribordo, l'Accademia di Belle Arti e l'Accademia di Francia, edificata questa nel 600 da Levaux per il cardinale Mazzarino. Subito dopo il Pont des Arts, il Palazzo della Moneta. Tip of the island, the Vergalon Garden and Place Dauphine. In the middle of Pont-Neuf, the oldest bridge in Paris, 1606, the statue of King Henry IV, who ended the wars of religion.
Ile de la Cité. An der Westspitze der Insel die Gartenanlage Jardin Vergalon und der Platz Dauphine, zusammen mit dem Pont-Neuf, der ältesten Brücke von Paris, 13. siècle.
To port, the Palais de Justice, rebuilt by Napoleon III, it surrounds the Sainte-Chapelle, a jewel of Gothic architecture, 13th century.
Backbord, Justizpalast.
Road system. Below ground, remains of ancient places of worship can be seen.
Notre
Sul Sagrato è quella di Carlo Magno.
Notre-Dame de Paris. Su explanada es el punto cero de las carreteras nacionales. Vemos la estatua del emperador europeo Carlomagno. en el subterráneo.
Symbol of the Gothic period, along with the cathedrals of Chartres, Amiens and Reims, building started in 1163.
Panthéon.
The patron saint of Paris adorns this stone bridge, and on the hill the Pantheon.
Brücke Pont de la Tournelle. Auf dieser steinernen Brücke die Stadt.
Il Ponte della Tournelle, sormontato dalla statua di Saint Geneviève, patrona di Parigi.
Urbanisme classique.
An example of classical town planning,
Backbord Il San.
where the wine market once stood, the Jussieu University and the Institute of the Arab World.
Steuerbord Stadtviertel Saint-Victor. Anstelle des
Located.
Steuerbord Skulpturenmuseum Stadtviertel Saint-Victor. Im Hintergrund der für König. Vers l'amont, Ministère des Finances et Palais Omnisport.
Visible upstream, the Ministry of Finance Saint-Louis, via the Marie branch of the river.
Damos la media vuelta alrededor de la isla San Luis por el brazo Marie.
左にサンドイ島が見えます。ランベル館、ローザンヌ館などの素晴らしい館が軒を連ねています。
Or the Marais Quarter, in former times marshland, now the site of stately residences and museums, Sens, Carnavalet, etc. The arsenal, now a library, and the dome of St. Paul's. A Tribordo, la chiesa di San Gervais.
La place, lieu des exécutions capitales et des attroupements. Tout le mot grève.
To starboard, the Place de l'Hôtel de Ville, a former port, La Grève, where the river trading aldermen established Paris as a real municipality, and where crowds assembled and public executions took place.
Steuerbord Rathausplatz. Ursprünglich war dies der Hafen Grève, heute ist es der Sitz der Pariser Stadtverwaltung.
ブレーブ広場では死刑執行や暴動が
This hospital, opposite the Tour Saint-Jacques.
Backbord Hotel Dieu. Dies ist das älteste Krankenhaus von Paris. Gegenüber der Tour Saint-Jacques.
A babordo, l'Hôtel Dieu, è l'ospedale più antico di Parigi.
À bord et l'Hôtel Dieu.
左に市立病院が見えます。三尺島の
Place du Châtelet. Mit seinen beiden Theatern aus dem 19. Jahrhundert.
A tribordo, la piazza dello Châtelet, con i suoi due grandi teatri, costruiti nell'Ottocento.
A estribor la Plaza de Châtelet, con sus dos teatros del siglo
This is
XIX.
near where Anne and I were staying for the first 2 nights.
Un prison. La reine Marie-Antoinette y attendit la mort. Ce bloc,
Bergerie, built on the palace of the first kings, later became a prison. Marie Antoinette awaited execution here.
Backbord Conciergerie.
Costruita sul palazzo dei
Anne and I
privilegi,
saw
poi
projected
adibita a
when
prigione. La regina Maria Antonietta vi attese la
being
morte.
illuminated.
In questo it was the Parisii Celts who originally gave their name to the town.
Île de la Cité.
Perrault's 17th century colonnade, the Louvre Museum.
Steuerbord der Louvre. Gegenüber dem Säulengang von Perrault aus dem 17. Jahrhundert.
Once stood the Tuileries Palace, of which the Pavillon de Flore is the only vestige.
Steuerbord Tuilerienpalast. Hinter dem Pavillon de Flore lag einstmals der Tuilerienpalast.
Coming towards the end of the trip. It's been very pleasant, very interesting, and a very handy way to see a lot of interesting things in the whole. Good 40 pounds worth.
L'obélisque.
To la Concorde, built under Louis XV, this is a typical royal square, designed to serve as a perfect setting for the statue of the monarch. Grand Palais, along with the Petit Palais, they were built of steel to house the Universal Exposition of 1900, now showcases for past temporary exhibitions. To port the Eiffel Tower, named after the engineer who built it. This metallic construction is beautifully lit at night. It has been used as a broadcast tower since 1914. Quarter, 8 Museum Hill. Chaillot Palace, rebuilt for the 1937 exposition, houses the museums of mankind, navy, French monuments and cinema.
採用級は1937年の博覧会
That's the Chaillot Palace that Guy was talking about. Sort of a semicircular building. It's a bit difficult to see, but you need to be up in the Eiffel Tower to see it properly.
Liberty. At the western tip of Swan Alley, which we're now circling, Bartoli's Statue of Liberty is a scaled-down version of the one in New York Harbor, the bridge which inspired the poet Apollinaire.
Al extremo oeste de la Alameda de los Cisnes, que ahora rodeamos, vemos la Estatua de la Libertad de Bartholdi, copia reducida de aquella que se encuentra en el puerto de Nueva York.
大橋を望んでいます。
Well, we left the Bateau Rouge, took the train to the Atlantic Quarter, got something quite disgusting to eat, and now we're enjoying these magnificent beers. And we deserve it. We're right inside the course of Notre Dame. Good place to have a drink. Ian turns up. Cost me a whole franc. So at least I should do is record him. We've worked our way around now to the wine. And saying I got the lens covered, which is not right, but hey, it's her birthday. Isn't it? Just a little picture of some of the moored barges in what is claimed to be the best address in Paris. I think this is the one that was on barging through Europe. Just get a close up of the name, so I'll check it later. Right here on where the Seine splits on the Pont des Arts. It's always been my favourite bridge, primarily because there's no traffic. And there's always something interesting going on. Often there's a jazz band.
Where's Le Pont des Arts?
It's my favourite view of Paris, standing on the Pont des Arts, looking at that part of the Seine splitting. Here's tonight's cabaret, the Weirdos, starring on the middle of the bridge if it doesn't rain. Down there you see l'Orchestre National de Paris warming up. Violins haven't turned up yet, apparently. Won't be long. The Louvre looking back towards l'Académie Française, across the Pont des Arts, the grand courtyard of the Louvre. Very and you can hear Anne singing in the background. Rather special. This young lady's singing rather well in a very convenient spot because she gets this wonderful acoustic from this ceiling. In case anyone wonders what the time is. And we're just getting a little bit of rain now, so we're going to scurry back to the hotel and get ready for Anne's birthday dinner. As you probably can hear through the microphone, it's blowing up a storm now. This is the part of the Louvre, this famous glass pyramid, the reason for which escapes me offhand. But it really is starting to go and rain. For my final fling, right? Hello? Come on, tourist. Just settled on the place to have Anne's birthday. It's such a typical, there she is, waving from behind the thing. It's such a typical little place. I know she'll like. Chosen our meal, it's getting dark now. Just thinking our first aperitifs. We've ordered our meal. And we're now absorbing the atmosphere, including all the diesel fumes, but hey, that's good too. Shouldn't take this because it shows our menu, which we'll look forward to remembering. But also this one is the menu of the day, which is of course a birthday. Our first course now, and we've told them we don't want to rush our second course. We'll wait till 9 o'clock, and it's 1:45 at the moment. The lights are coming on, and it's just a wonderful bustle. Right. Hello. Cheers. We're just loving it. It's now 9:30. We've finished our main meal. It's now absolutely dark, and yet it continues to be a wonderful place. There's things going on.
They came down and said that.
Mountain. Nothing screaming at you. People enjoying themselves. Well, he's taking his tablets. At the end of the evening, we're going to ask the bill. And although she's picking through her fingers, we had a good time, didn't we? Say yes, yes, yes. What she said, difficult to hear when she's ready for it. There you go. This is the end of our last evening. We're going to go home now. Ouch! I was goosed again. Just coming out of the worst part of the journey, this awful, awful elevator. You've seen nothing like it in your life.
Voila.
Voila, and goodbye. Here we are. This is the end of it. That's if Anne could get...
Bob! You know I can't open this.
We decided to splurge out and get a taxi back to the airport. So this is a few last shots on the way there.